Another quick thought for you. This week we've been putting together some resources for tutorial pack on behaviour and attitude. So I've been thinking and reflecting on my past experiences and doing some research and putting together a whole load of activities and resources for how and why people think and behave in the way that they do. Then I had a conversation with two very proud grandparents whose granddaughter had her first parents' evening at school. And they were so pleased with the feedback. The teacher had apparently said that she's really far ahead and she's hoping that the rest of the class will be where she is now when they leave. So obviously very proud, very pleased with her. As a teacher, I'm thinking, oh, how are you going to stretch and challenge that particular child in your class? I'm sure that's what you're thinking. And I asked the question. I wanted to find out, get some ideas. And their response was, oh, they're really pleased because what they're going to do is when she finishes her work, they're going to get her to help the rest of the children in the class. Now, I know this child a little bit, and I thought, I'm not sure that's always going to be the right thing for her. But parents, very pleased. It's fine. I then had a conversation with a friend of mine who's just had 2 new pets. And she was talking about how she's going to make sure that they have a really great experience, that they are really confident and comfortable with her, how she's bought loads of treats. And I suddenly thought, I can see why these things are fitting together in my head now. This is all about rewards. And I started to reflect on my bank of rewards. I've been teaching for 25 years. I should have a bank of rewards. I don't. And I asked some colleagues, and neither do they. And I want to know why. So I'm thinking, why don't I have that? I remember bemoaning the fact that I don't have a bank of sanctions and working out ways around that for improving behaviour when I don't have a whole load of things that I can do. When you work in FE, you're quite limited. But why don't I have a bank of rewards that I can use with my students? I've spent most of my time teaching adults, access, maths, basic skills, psychology, and the most I have is stars that I give out. It works really well, but that's not enough. What have I been doing? I know my students, so they tell me that they're happy, but how do I know they've been rewarded? So I was thinking about that, and actually the best opportunities I've had to reward my students have been handing round the page of stars and getting them to choose their own reward. Take as many stars as you think you've earned this session. And sometimes people take 2 or more. Invariably, there's always somebody who doesn't take any stars. And that leaves me open to be able to ask the question, why do you think you've earned more than 1 star? Why do you think you've not earned a star today? And the conversation becomes the reward or a learning opportunity. But what about the students who work really well? I don't hold with letting students go early. In fact, I've argued with colleagues about that who used to say, well, we'll let them finish. If everybody finishes early, we'll go 5 minutes early. And so we've had the conversation about, well, what impact does that have? What message does that send about the value of your lesson? That your reward is to not have it anymore. Why don't we have a bank of rewards? Why don't we plan in rewards? I've looked at my lesson plans as I've been putting together these tutorial packages. There's nothing that says the rewards. There's things that say stretch, there's things about assessment, so I know they've learned, they know they've learned, but there's nothing that says rewards. And I think I need to go back and do something about that.